There are different types of LCs: confirmed LC, red clause LC, green clause LC, revolving LC, revocable LC, irrevocable LC. Today, our discussion is about red clause LC versus green clause LC, how they work, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of these LCs. Red clause LC versus green clause LC. When we discuss about the definitions, red clause LC allows the seller to receive an advance payment for the part of total amount before shipping the goods. The funds are often intended to help the seller procure raw material or start production. While in the case of Green Clause LC provides an advance for the both procurement and warehousing of the goods. The seller must present warehouse receipt as a proof of goods being stored before receiving the advance. So this is something additional work regarding presenting of warehouse receipt as a proof of goods. Key features of these LCs are the red clause LC. The advance is secured based on a trust arrangement without require collateral like warehouse receipt. While in the case of green clause LC, the LC is green due to this additional warehousing clause, providing more security for the buyer since the goods are already produced and stored. This is more secure as compared to red clause LC due to the additional clause of warehousing as it provides more security for the buyer. When we discuss about the process, the issuing bank provides the advance upon presentation of LC based on certain documents to guarantee that goods will be shipped. While in the case of green clause LC, funds are released after the seller present a receipt verifying that goods are in storage, ensuring that production is complete and the goods exist. This is an additional step or additional security. So, in the case of green clause LC, there is no clause, additional clause like warehousing, while in the case of green clause LC, the additional clause of warehouse is added. In case of red clause, there is no warehousing clause is added. What are the advantages of green clause LC and red clause LC for seller and buyer? When we discuss about the advantages for seller in case of red clause LC, it provides working capital upfront enabling production and procurement. And for the seller is motivated to fulfill the order due to the partial payment as advancely payment. Some payment is paid to the buyer in a partial installments. In case of green clause, for the buyer, reduced risk as the goods are stored and partially under the buyer control before full payment. And for seller, provides capital for warehousing in addition to the procurement. As we have already discussed, the additional clause of warehousing was added in this LC. So risk is reduced, and for the case of buyer and for the case of seller provides capital for warehousing in addition to procurement. On the other hand, there are disadvantages also for the both cases, like when we discuss about the red clause LC, for the buyer high risk as funds are released before the goods are shipped with a minimum guarantee, because advance payment is applicable, so it risks for the buyer high risk as funds are released before the goods are shipped. For the case of seller, they may be responsible for repayment if the goods are not shipped as agreed. It is the negative point or disadvantages for seller. When we discuss about the disadvantages of green clause LC for the buyer, additional cost as a warehousing expenses may increase total transaction cost. As in case of red clause LC, there is no additional cost of warehousing expenses. So it is only applicable in green clause LC. On the other hand, for the seller may tie up funds in warehousing and storage cost, especially if delivery is delayed. These are the disadvantages for the case of green clause LC. These disadvantages are related to additional advance payment and plus warehousing expenses or warehousing related cost. Which is better, either red clause LC or green clause LC? Better for situation with a higher trust between buyer and seller, or where the buyer wants to exploit the production with a minimum logistical cost. Green clause is suited for the higher value or a bulk transaction where the buyer wants confirmation of goods before release of funds, providing a higher level of security. So, in the case of green clause, suited for higher value or bulk transaction, where the buyer wants confirmation of goods before release of funds, providing higher level of risk. Overall, green clause LCs are safer for the buyer due to the requirement of warehouse receipt. But red clause LCs may be faster and cheaper due to fewer steps. As we have discussed, green clause LCs are safer for buyer due to the requirement of warehousing receipt, as warehousing receipt is additional clause for the green clause LC, but this also makes additional step or slightly longer time frame. On the other hand, red clause LC may be faster and cheaper due to fewer steps, because in the case of red clause LC there is no step like warehousing recipients. So I think the concept about the red clause LC and green clause LC would be very clear. In the both LCs, advance payment, partial advance payment is given to the seller, but in the case of green clause LC, additional cost of warehousing or additional security of warehousing related receipt is provided in the clause that is the additional security for the buyer.